Hey everybody, it's me, Pastor Tim, and surprise, no beard. How about that? There's more surprises for you yet in store in this video. We're gonna go behind the scenes at the end of our our weekly rep, and so you wanna stay in this whole video and make sure to watch it all the way till the end, and you'll get to see more about our AV booth and things of that nature. So we look forward to that this upcoming Sunday. We're grateful. We're going to have our Sunday school. We're going to have our confirmation. We're going to have our worship service. And then we're going to finish up our series on Dear Church. And so we've been really thankful for the ways in which that has helped move and shape us. If you have a Dear Church book, I want to invite you to come onto our stream as we finish this up. Let us know what you thought of the book. Good, bad, indifferent, all of the ways in which you felt about it. I want to bring that together as we gather and talk more about it. We're going to be transitioning our adult education into a adult confirmation, going back to some of our roots as we do and we think through more in detail about what it means to be Lutheran. So we've got a DVD study that's going to go alongside with that. We're looking forward to it. We'll have participant guides here. You can order them on Amazon. And you can find out more information on our Hump Day update. This week in our scriptures, we fast forward way forward. We're going all the way into 1 Samuel. So if you remember last week, we were in Exodus. They had the golden calf, all of that. Now we're into 1 Samuel. So we've moved along here. So let me give you a real fast up. They get through the wilderness. They get into the Holy Land. They conquer the lands. They divvy them out. As they're trying to make sense of what it means to be a nation, they have rulers that come up, but people decide then they continue to live by their own ways. And in fact, the end of the book of Judges ends with just that statement, that this was the land when there was no king in Israel and everyone did what was right in their own eyes. And that's one of the great lines that we have that feeds us in through the narrative. What does it mean to be in a place where everyone does what is right? If you remember in your books of the Bible, right, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, you know that Ruth comes between Samuel and Judges. And what Ruth is, if you read the beginning, right away at the beginning of Ruth, it says, in the time in which the judges ruled over Israel. And that would be kind of a snapshot of in that period of time. So if you're following the narrative, kind of like circle around, and you're going to go into the Samuel, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings. That's where we get into today. So we're in Samuel. So we're in this period in which the people were doing what was right in their own eyes. And we'll not only see that come out, but we'll notice that in this story even for today. We have a priest named Eli and his sons, and his sons are no good. Eli is no good. And Samuel will be called into the situation by God. We're not going to cover all of that. I want to encourage you, though, to go ahead and read 1st and 2nd Samuel. Between the next 2 weeks, we're going to be covering the story of Hannah and then the story of David, 2nd Samuel 7. And these are important ones to know, but this is an area of the Bible where we get fuzzy. Not everybody knows much about where we're at. And so I want to encourage you, if you're in the midst of a pandemic, if you haven't done it in a year or longer, to go ahead and read 1st and 2nd Samuel. Just sit down. You don't need to read it all in one day, but just sit down, read through it. If you get to tough words, just skip over them. Don't worry about it. Just kind of get in and read 1st and 2nd Samuel, understand more of that narrative. So I want to encourage you to do that over at least the next couple of weeks, but at any point in time, it'll be good for you. We're introduced to our first matriarch of the faith as we have navigated this fall, Hannah. Hannah is an amazing person of faith and has offered many, many great opportunities for us to dig into and to think more deeply about our own faith. We're introduced that Hannah is married to Elkanah, and so she also has Peninnah. So there's Elkanah, he's married to Peninnah and to Hannah. Peninnah has lots of kids, Hannah doesn't. Peninnah holds that over. And as yesterday in our Bible study, it was eloquently stated, the one has what the other one wants. So Peninnah has kids, but not the love of her husband. Hannah has no kids, but the devotion of her husband Elkanah. And so we move through this story hearing about how Hannah is at work in this. Now in our society, we don't oftentimes take time to talk about infertility. We don't take time to talk about miscarriages, and we don't take about as much time as we should to talk about infant loss. And this is something that is so important as we walk with folks who grieve, who are sad, and who carry this burden of trying to have a baby and not being able to, or having a miscarriage. It is a heavy burden that we bear, and one in which you can't take lightly as you navigate this story of Hannah. And so if that's something that you're in the midst of, Hannah is a story that maybe you can relate to. It also might bring up other feelings as you're walking through this. One of the things that Hannah works through is this prayer and bringing her grievance before God. And so as we get going towards Sunday, as we start to look more deeply into what we're going to talk about with Hannah, I want you to think about, is there something that you are waiting for? What are you waiting for? Like, what are you hoping that changes maybe in your life in the next month, 6 months, a year? What does it look like to be waiting for that thing? And how has it shaped the way in which you make decisions and experiences? Now, this could, of course, be related to the pandemic. It could be something completely different. But are you waiting for something? And what is it doing to who you are? That's the question I want us to surround ourselves with as we navigate into Sunday, and I hope that you come back. And now, what you've all been waiting for, our behind-the-scenes tour of our AV system. We're excited about this, so I'm going to take up this. You can see we have installed 3 cameras. That's one of the cameras. The other cameras are on the sides of the church. There's one over there, and then if you navigate over there, there's another one. Those cameras are what they call pan, tilt, and zoom cameras. They're able to do all of the navigating around, and here is the behind the scenes. So we got our AV box down here. We've got a nice shelf that Rich Hallberg just brought in and made. We got 2 boards set up, and you can see at the top, one says house and one says stream. Our hope is that when these get fully up and running, that they improve the sound quality. Now you see all these little buttons? That makes a difference as to how the sound that's going in and out. And that takes a lot of time to fine tune and to navigate. And so we're working on those pieces. We're making sure that they are both working. Right now we're having little issues with that, and you've heard that on Sunday morning. This last Sunday at least, it sounded like a ransom caller. We have a whole bunch of equipment down there that I have no idea what it does. But over here, it's kind of the fun aspect of it. We have our computer. The graphics side is over on this side, and so we'll have that going to show the graphics. And then this is our cameras. So we have them labeled, and we have 3 cameras. You can see the different angles of each of those cameras, and they move around as we do. See, I'm on camera 5 right now. So if I move camera 5, you can see that we can move it around, can move it up to the front. We can focus in if we want to, like that. Oh, a little fast. So you can see how we can move things around and have different angles. Camera 5 will be good because it will have really good, whoa. Obviously it takes a little more skill than what I have. And that's why there's a preview button, actually. This is the preview box, and this is what's showing. But lots of fun stuff as we get going and navigate ourselves down the road. I'm really grateful. I hope we can see you on Sunday. If not on Sunday, you can come in church, or you can come online. But we hope that you find a way that you can come and worship with us. All right, God's peace. Bye.